Family. So we got something I like to call the Amos parable. Now, first and foremost, for those who've already read the book of Amos, I'm not going to be talking about the entirety of that entire book itself. Although I do plan to get to the things that book teaches a little bit later. I specifically want to focus on this chunk of passage that's in Amos 7. Because when I read this, it kind of spoke to me where I was at being called to do ministry in whatever capacity I've been called to do it. So for context, the book of Amos, God was showing him visions, and I'm gonna be paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying? But God was showing him visions of the destruction and judgment that he was going to commit upon the land of Israel due to their acts of idolatry and, moral misconduct, so on and so forth. To which point he then tasks Amos to deliver this news to the people of Israel. Now, around Amos 7, he's, well underway with prophesying to the people about the things that's going to happen to them if they don't turn from their ways. Now, one of the priests named Amaziah, who was hearing all of this stuff that Amos was preaching about the death of their people and Amaziah was more concerned about the king. So that's that. But he was telling Amos to, go do all of that prophesying somewhere else. He was implying that it was almost like a profession or a discipline to Amos. At which point, Amos responds to him saying that he's not a prophet. He's simply just a herdsman and a sycamore fruit gatherer. And that little chunk of text right there, that I'm not a prophet. I don't do this. I'm not a prophet. I'm not a prophet's son. I'm just a herdman. And this is why I call it the Amos parable, because I've told you guys beforehand that I felt like I was also called to do ministry work. But the thing is that I was making every excuse in the book not to do it. And even when I got around to saying like, okay, this is something I'm supposed to be doing, I kept making excuses to delay that. And that's something we all will often do as well. Because here's the truth of the matter. Whether or not you've been called by God to do ministry, if you are one of his children, you are a missionary. Plain and simple. If you know him, if you know of him, if you know of his grace, mercy, and love, you are now charged with delivering that news. And again, be mindful of not trying to come up with excuses or succumbing to obstacles. Right now, I work a day shift from like 6 a.m. to 2 in the morning. 2 p.m. No, 2 p.m., not a.m., 2 p.m. And honest with you, I'm not a morning person. I can function, but I don't want to be interacting with nobody. I really don't. But after I get off of work, man, I hit the gym and I get to the crib and I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to edit no videos for the channel. I don't want to do no beats. I don't want to do nothing. I want to lay down and just pig out to some TikTok and whatever else. But those things, I cannot allow those things to stop me. And I know I'm not talking to myself here. And another thing to be mindful of is that not only be careful of allowing yourself to succumb to pressures or succumb to things that distract you from doing it. Don't let the idea of you kind of having some type of weakness as well stop you from doing that too. Because God is not so foolish as to not take your weakness into account. Matter of fact, that's even more reason to disregard your weakness. Now, I have to reread the entire chapter of Amos. I read it through a little bit, but I got to reread it again. I don't know if there was any, record of Amos having the same struggle that some of us fight, making excuses or holding ourselves back because of weakness or kind of fighting with the charge that he's been given to go, prophesy to the people of Israel. Nevertheless, excuses, obstacles, and weaknesses should not hold us back from telling people the truth about the one who knows everything about us, flaws and all, but still loves us. So this is just some encouragement. Again, I'm not going to speak to the degree in which somebody might be called to minister. You might be called to do it on a big scale. You might be, I don't know. But at the very least, it is written time and time again that some of the most normal, average, and or some of the most broken people have preached the gospel historically, have done that. So again, just some encouragement. Start small. You know what I'm saying? A conversation between you and the homies, you and the sisters, you and a coworker or something. You got to start on a ground level. I have this idea in which I stopped paying attention to things like politics around like the year 2020, 2021. I was still in the military at that time. And honestly, excuse my French, but they was whooping my ass so bad when it came to working on a submarine that I honestly did not have any mental capacity to deal with that stuff, any politics, any political stuff anymore. But alongside the fact that I no longer care, I also feel like there's too many people worried about things that's happening on a grand scale, and not enough people worrying about stuff that's happening on the ground level. We are on the ground level, ordinary people. I myself a maintenance man, ordinary dude. We need to be these people on the ground level, supplying other folks on the ground level with the gospel and truth. As well as I'm gonna put this in there, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna leave. As well as praying for people, praying for everybody on this earth, because I truly believe that we would have been gone far sooner if it wasn't for the God-fearing people on this earth still praying on our behalf, on the people of Earth's behalf. So just think about that, man. I'm gonna go ahead and dip, you know what I'm saying? But just think about that. Do what you can on the ground level and be a part of that group of warriors praying for all of us. All right, peace.